T-minus 40 seconds. T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Own it, own it, own it, Kong. I own it. It did.
Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the #1 women's wrestling show on the planet.
That's right. The #1 women's wrestling show on the planet, Women's Wrestling Talk. And here we are with a Thursday edition of the Dynamite Post Show. I am here with my wonderful, wonderful counterpart, Al. She was there. We're going to get into it. How are you feeling today, friend?
Can you hear me okay? I just switched my mic. I told you before we started, my brain's mush and it's all wrestling, and I have stuck in my head, and I've heard Cult of Personality like more times in my life than in my entire life. But that was my first Dynamite, and what a Dynamite to be at.
That's it. What a Dynamite.
I want to know what it's like to be watching, because you guys were in the chat and like, what's going on? And I'm like, wait, what? I want like, so that's also cool to me. They're like, what didn't I see? What did you see that I want to know what, like, very, very cool.
Well, we will definitely get into all of that. Yep. MJF went crazy. We will get there. But first, let's start off with what we like to start off with, right? Let's see.
Oh, yeah.
How spicy?
Oh, this is definitely Inferno. This is all the way.
Inferno? You think it was Inferno?
I would say Inferno. Yes, it took it over.
Y'all know we like to talk about how spicy the show was, is, or isn't.
Oh, yeah.
This is a cute little scale I found. We got mild, medium, hot, and Inferno. Al is going with Inferno, and Al was there. I'm going with somewhere between hot and Inferno. It was pretty spicy. Let us know in the comments what y'all thought. Hey, that is our editor-in-chief in the comments. Santana, thank you for hopping on. MJF for the earth. Your scale doesn't have hot enough spice. We will get there, JD.
I know.
Promise. And apparently there's some more backstage, some more stuff that happened that Al saw that we didn't see. We'll get into that. Yeah. Let's just start. Let's just start at the top, shall we?
Okay. We'll go in order.
So we had our little card. Yeah, I did good. I made sure I kept everything in order this time. Here was the overview of the card. And you know what? We should have known by the background on this picture that it was going to be spicy. We usually get the pink or the purple. We got these spicy pepper colors, sunset in the background, and it did not disappoint. So this is just a little overview of what we had on the show. Let me shout out real quick Hakulio, because Lord Jesus, did not expect him to be there.
That was a good surprise.
Baby, and he came out and he was beautiful, but we will get there. The show started off with this here.
Yes.
CM Punk comes out with this title, lower third, listing all of his accolades, and decides, you know what, I am going to jump into this Las Vegas crowd and serve. And he did so. But we did get to have a match with him and some of our favorites here.
Oh, what a great photo.
FTR. I know they're so cute. Our 6-star FTR, as we love to affectionately call them here. And they had a match against, interestingly enough, very random to me, the
Yeah.
Acclaimed. The Acclaimed with our friend in the wheelchair here and the Best Boys. That's who they fought.
Yeah, a choice when I
A
saw
choice.
that.
A choice, because I definitely did not expect CM Punk and FTR to lose that match when I saw
Obviously.
who they were fighting. But you were there. How was the energy for that match?
Just the energy in that building was just wild. Like everyone was hyped. Like just coming off Double or Nothing, just being a first LA show, a first West Coast California show. Beautiful venue. I've never been to the Forum. It was beautiful. But that energy beforehand, Tony Khan came out like a minute before and was like, "We're going live in 30 seconds." So like hype everybody up, which we were already hyped and like chanting CM Punk before. And then like to hear that music and to see that new stage they have with the like video and to see the title on it, I was like, oh my God. It was overwhelming. Like coming off of Double or Nothing, being there, like it was a lot happening. But it was so cool to see like the support, the energy that Punk got, that like how happy he was to be tagging with his friends and like just everyone had a really like cool vibe, like that you could tell everyone was really hyped to be at the show. But that energy was great. I can't believe we're getting ass boy chants.
I mean, we can thank Danhausen. Danhausen is
can't
to thank for that.
I said it Sunday to somebody. I said, only in wrestling are you going to get an ass boy chant. Like a whole arena. It was ridiculous. With them saying Sacramento and San Diego, doing just being a whole mess.
Just chaotic as usual.
Billy remaining a giant man that we keep forgetting is a giant man.
That is very true. But we did see, of course, CM Punk and FTR pull out the win on that one.
I want Punk to stop trying to go over the top rope, though.
Yeah.
He can't do it. I don't know. It's been a long week. I know. Punk can't be doing that no more.
I mean, I agree.
It was a little. We all went ooh. But amazing match. So fun. Great opener.
I love how the Gun Club is fixing their father's son. Screaming. You know what, JD? But what we did get after the match, we got a call out by CM Punk. And who answers?
The ace himself?
Answers.
Tanahashi?
And
went berserk.
I was like, oh, we are doing this. Okay.
You know what's funny is like the car ride, like we've had conversations. Anybody have had this conversation, like who's gonna, your fantasy booking Forbidden Door.
Oh Lord, JD, I got you. This is none other than one of New Japan's very own, very cherished. I don't want to butcher his name. Al, can you? So I don't butcher it.
We just say Tanahashi.
Tanahashi. We'll just go with Tanahashi.
My brain is wrestling, but that's Tanahashi, the ace.
The ace.
Yes, he is their number one guy. Beautiful man. That was not on my bingo card. I was like, Okada, Kenta, like, and we're throwing names out, and then turn and look at the screen. He's like, "We got him." And we're all like,
Tanahashi.
And like Tanahashi.
Al said that is New Japan's top guy, tippity top guy, coming to answer the call of CM Punk, and it's gonna be a good match.
Yeah.
If you've never got to see any of Tanahashi's work, he's great in the ring. It will not be one that anyone will think is a pushover or a giveaway. CM Punk's gonna have to fight to defend that one.
That'll be so fun. There'll be some air guitaring. Fun. Ugh, it's gonna be amazing. I'm so ready. I like marked out so hard. I was just yelling, no, like no way. Like turned to my friends, like we were just freaking out, like
Love
so
that.
it's so excited. Forbidden Door is gonna be crazy. Was
Well,
expecting to see somebody from New Japan, but was not expecting Tanahashi.
well, New Japan said, bringing out the big guns. Don't look for the little pistol. I got the big gun right here for you.
We said
We're
we
gonna
got
get
the
CM
ace.
Punk and Tanahashi. Did they confirm if it's gonna be a Forbidden Door or?
Like he said, like bring out my challenger.
Okay, so we'll be at Forbidden Door then.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm looking forward to it. But then that next segment.
Here we go. Settle in, get your snacks.
This angry Maxwell is what I called him. It was a promo.
That was. What did it look like on TV before let me speak. What did you see?
Very angry. Lots of cuss words that were bleeped out. Very emotional. You know, he said this is not MJF talking. This is Maxwell talking. We did not hear any of the stuff that you saw that you're going to talk about with who came out after and all of that. Okay. We didn't get any of that on TV. It pretty much cut off after, you know, him saying that he carried the company on his back. You know, he had to write his own checks and nobody handed anything to him. He was giving a very resentful promo. Mm-hmm. It seems as though he feels underappreciated. He feels disrespected. He feels not valued by the company. And as one of the pillars, I could see why you would be really upset. Mm-hmm. People have been speculating whether or not it was a work from the beginning. Some people feel like it is not, and that he truly is upset because his backstage antics have been very erratic. He has not been present. He has not been contributing really to anything. Some people feel like it's just an elaborate work, a la MJF. What was the promo like for you there?
So it was so loud, I couldn't hear him for like a minute. You know, I put in a video on my Instagram, and you can just hear how booey it is, like the loudness. I have another one of his entrance, but you couldn't hear really what he was saying. But then once he started talking, like everyone was booing the crap out of him, right? But then he was like, you know, like you said, this is Max, I'm talking. And then he was just like, you know, I have carried this. I am doing this. You know, why aren't I a WWE? Like, would you like me better if I'm a WWE star? We're like, dang, like then we're like, but you know what? He's not wrong. Like we were all like, but like you're
he
right.
Had points were made.
Many points. He brought his receipts. He was like, I have brought money. You know, I don't know if that was on TV or not. He was saying like his segments were high rating, like second highest. He's like saying like, would you guys like me better if I, you know, you guys don't like me because I don't drop people on their heads. Like I work safe. Like he was like just scathing. And it's like, damn, you know, it's kind of right. Like I don't do flippy things. Like I don't, you know, this is why you don't like me. He's like, and then, so what he cut off is, yes, there was a lot of curse words, lots of bleeps, I'm sure, but I heard it all. He called us all marks, you know. He called out Tony Khan saying, you know, like he said, what do you like him better if he's a ex-WWE superstar? Why doesn't he get paid that much? And then he was like, you're just a bleeping mark. I guess we're on Twitch. He called him a fucking mark. And that you didn't see at home. Then everybody was like, what the hell? Like, what is, like, we're like, is this real? Is this supposed to be? Like, no, because we didn't know it was cut off. So he's going off on everybody. CM Punk comes down. One shoe. Like he was in the back taking his boots off. And he's like, comes out, and then Max leaves through the crowd. And Punk was like, you know, and we're all just like, what the hell just happened? Like, it was insane. Because we're like, is this a work? Is this not, like, you know, Punk's coming out here half dressed, like he just got done with the match. Like,
situation, exactly.
Yeah, we're just like, what is happening? So, like, that was the craziest experience I've ever had at a show. To be like, so like, is this real? Is this not? But you know what? It's great TV. And I like that. I know this is what we do, is talk about wrestling and speculate and figure it out. But I like not knowing what's happening. You know, it's nice to be like, what is this real? Because he does have plenty of points. You know, but I mean, you and I have complained about his paint by numbers feuds, and I don't know if that's anyone's fault, if that's his fault, if that's the company's fault.
Mm-hmm.
That, but just, I had friends going, that felt like a face turn, like that. They're like, because he flipped everyone from hating him to being like, you know what? Yeah, he's right. This guy is like underappreciated, like in like a whole minute, like the craziest, like, and the noise, like everyone was standing and being like, yes, you're right. And then he did call us out for like, he's like, now you're cheering for me. And we're like, okay, yeah.
But you're supposed to, and that's what's the confusing thing about it, right? Because we're supposed to boo you because you're a heel.
Exactly.
You're a very obvious heel. But when you come out here and you're making sense, you're making valid points, and we start cheering for you, then it's like, but you're cheering for me now. And it's like, well, yeah, you're right. Like, what are we supposed to do? Like, and that feeds into the, is this a work or is it not? We really don't know. And I think we're all going to be sitting on the edge of our seats to see what the hell is going to happen with Maxwell Jacob Friedman, because this is getting crazy. He didn't come for the meet and greet. They didn't even know if he was going to be at the match with Wardlow.
Exactly.
Like
that entire weekend being in Vegas and being like, he wasn't there. And we're like, what do you mean he wasn't there? And hearing people who went to FanFest who were like, I saw people decked out in MJF gear, wait in that line. And we're like, what do you mean? Like, we're like, and then everything hearing. And then, so like, to see him Sunday was like, oh my God, he's here.
JD says mostly work, 20% shoot, my uneducated guesstimate. I know a lot of people would agree with me. That segment was absolutely inferno hot. It was spicy pepper. MJF provided exactly what we hoped he would give us.
And maybe Tony said, hey, he's like, this is what I'm gonna say, Tony. And Tony's like, okay, yeah, sure, go out there. And then he went, no, and just went off script. It could. We don't know.
I mean, I feel like that's what happened with that one Jericho Appreciation promo where he was talking about everybody's personal lives. I feel like he went off the script on that one too, but
that was in a bad way. But
yeah, it was in a bad way. This provided.
He asked Tony to fire him. He said, "Fire me, you fucking Mark." And we all were like, "What?"
Well, that's one way to ask for a resignation.
That makes me, we're just like so confused, looking at each other like, huh? Like, what? And I like looked at my phone like, it's been 30 minutes. Like, I looked at my phone and go, we just saw Tanahashi, and I feel like that was so long ago, and now I'm confused about Punk, and it's been MJF, and it's been 30 minutes.
Well, moving along from MJF, we got your favorite to diffuse the situation. We got the first match from Johnny Elite here, fighting, and the picture that I had was really, really grainy, so I didn't put it, but fighting the wonderful, wonderful Miro. So glad to see him back on TV, cutting promos, giving matches. How did you feel? You love both of them. How was the match for you?
This is what hurt. Like, so we all were like shook, and then Johnny comes on, and I was like, barking out as I do, my dude. Everyone's looking at me like a crazy person. I don't care. And I was like, yes, all right, Johnny. And then we hear a voice, because the screens there wasn't like one big screen. There was a couple little ones in the building. So we hear a voice, we're like, who's talking? And then we look at the screen and we're like, oh, it's Miro. And then I was like, oh no, it's Miro. Like, yay, but oh no.
Oh no.
It's like, Johnny, no. I was like, Tony, what did I do to deserve this? But yeah, so I was like, we're really excited to see Miro, and then I was like, this isn't gonna end well for my boy. But great match, amazing. I love seeing Miro. I'm so happy he's back.
Great match, but it did not end well.
No, it did
For
not.
Johnny, but it's okay because he fought valiantly. He did great.
It did.
So good to see both of them back on the television screen.
Very happy for both of them. It was a great match.
Moving on, we got a little bit of this next. Listen. Let me tell you something. Thanks to our editor, our president, our CEO, TK, for that. Let me tell you something. These boys look like a bad extras out of Magic Mike. Okay, I was not feeling the look at all. Marcus said, "Do you think CM Punk helped MJF with that promo?" Possibly. It did give a little pipe bomb CM Punk vibes. It did. But also, like Al said, with CM Punk coming out after or like during the promo with one boot on, clearly urgently trying to get down to the ring. I don't know. Maybe MJF just took a page out of Punk's book. Who knows?
It felt like from the heart. It felt like something he'd been building up.
Right. It did. It did feel like unaddressed emotions.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the Magic Mike extras here. We got a promo from them.
Yes.
Promo was fine. I mean, whatever.
It's fine. But
let me tell you what we did. Go ahead.
Who came out?
Well, first of all, Erratic Eddie Kingston came out.
Yes, it did.
With our favorite William Regal, pacing back and forth, looking crazy, demanding blood and guts. That wasn't even the highlight. That was not the highlight. Do y'all want to see what the highlight was of this whole segment? This crazy person. I don't even know what else to call him at this point. Ortiz comes out, scissors blazing, and cuts a chunk out of Jericho's hair.
Are you okay?
I was just like, about
to jump in the ring.
What? And now we're getting a hair versus hair match with Jericho and Ortiz. But I just, first of all, if we go back to the picture, noticeably Daniel Garcia was missing, but he was in the main event, so he did not have time to be playing Magic Mike extras with the boys for that segment. But it was. What away, Jericho the goat. He sneezes and it turns to goat. How dare you relish that Jericho's Goldilocks? You know why? Because everything. Listen. Jericho's missing a chunk out of them Goldilocks at this point, and it was in Ortiz's pocket. Ortiz put that in his pocket, and he went on about his business. Jericho might need to be a little scared because if anybody knows what I know about somebody else having some of your hair, that ain't always a good thing. Is all I'm gonna say. I don't know what you believe, but Puerto Rican POC. If we have some of your hair, that may not be.
I didn't even think about that. That's a good point.
The best thing for you. There may be some brujeria going on. I don't know.
He may be a wizard, but I don't think he can block that.
So I want Jericho to get that chunk of his hair back. Because if he don't, things might start going real crazy around here.
Okay, but that's kind of a fun backstage. AEW, I know you're watching.
Of course they're watching. They always watch us.
I want some. Yeah, I want him to go. Yeah, I want him to have a little. Just show some. He wants to be like, hey, you're a wizard. Actually, got some bruja shit for you.
I don't know. I'm just saying what I felt when I saw the chunk cut off and put in his pocket. I was like, ooh, 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 get it back. Get your hair back. Get your hair back.
Yeah, it's about you.
No, get it back. But it was a great segment. Way better than the last segment between them. William Regal didn't do much, but I don't think he needed to. I think Kingston and Ortiz. Yeah, I think Kingston and Ortiz had it pretty handled with the antics and the foolishness that occurred.
I had to rewatch it to hear Regal say blood and guts because it was so loud in there. We're all like so amped up. I had to rewatch it because I was like, what is it? Did he say the word?
He said it. He said the words. Jericho did grant their wish, of course, but they have to have the hair versus hair match first. So I wonder who's going to be shaving their head.
Yeah, I wonder. Ortiz.
I can't see Ortiz shaving his head. I'm sorry.
I can't see shaving his head either.
Me either. I don't know. Something's going to have to happen.
Been bald.
It's going to have to be a double DQ or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't see either of these men. I turned around and said, I'm glad I saw Ortiz take a picture with his hair. Like, I
had the video, or it was a GIF, and I was like, no, I'm not going to do that to Jericho. I already got the picture of the man standing over him cutting the hair off. I'm not going to do that to Jericho on the show today.
You're out of the Appreciation Society if you do that.
Listen, I was already out. Okay, because I happily posted this right here. I was already out of the society. Jericho had them.
Were the uniforms or no?
He had them put me out. It was fine, you know. I told him thank you, and I went on about my business. But that segment was it was interesting, and it led right into what
Eddie almost tripping, and then I thought of you.
Those loose ankles. Those loose ankles.
Immediately, I saw him
every time.
Saw him fumble, and I went, "Oh, Mika."
Gotta watch them ankles, Eddie. You gotta watch them ankles, Eddie. They get loose, and then you end up looking crazy. Okay, just saying. I'm just saying what I'm saying. That's all. Nothing more. And that segment led into this.
Unlikely animal friends.
This was a ragtag bunch of some of my favorite people versus the Undisputed Elite and Mr. Bullet Club Man. And you know, honestly, I wasn't really sure what to expect of the match. But I think it went pretty good. It was a little chaotic, but it always is whenever AEW has more than a 6-man match happening, it gets a little chaotic.
These men specifically.
I mean, and the makeup of the team that lost, unfortunately, you know, Undisputed Elite did get the win, which is fine. It was it the Bucks?
The Bucks, Red Dragon,
and then Haiku Noah, yeah. So they were giving well-oiled machine. Undisputed Elite was, but Jurassic Express, Darby, Matt, they were giving completely erratic. They were giving chaos energy. I loved it so much. Darby just went diving off of things as he always does.
The coffin drop, and then he caught him, and we were freaking out.
And I will tell you, the cutest moment to me was the Jeff and Darby fist bumping in the beginning moment. It almost looked like a passing the torch type of thing. And I was like, this is 10 out of 10. Wholesome television.
I got so happy. I was like, yay, Jeff. Now go to the back, go rest.
Right, go rest. Because you shouldn't have been out here in the first place.
I said, oh, I see him? Okay, bye. Go back there.
Yeah, go sit down. Go sit down. Don't you walk to this room. Go sit down.
Somebody found this man a massage chair. Like, let him watch the match in comfort.
Right. So how was the match in person, friend?
Oh my god, chaos. But like in the best way. Like I said, like Darby coffin dropping, and then Hikulea just being just massive human being, and just we didn't know where to look. It was so fun. Yeah, it so just crazy. The chants for Luchasaurus were crazy. Like when Hikuleo was in there, they're like, "Yes, let's go, big boys, let's do this." And I was like, "What's happening?" Like, like so much was happening. The
We did
Bucks
have our
just
King of Heart on commentary come out with
yeah.
his belt.
The funny is, I
Um,
didn't even see him when they entered. We're all like, "Why are they coming out to Adam Cole's music?" We didn't see him go to commentary till like the end. We're like, "Oh,
mhm.
there." But that's because
Yeah.
from my section, I was on the opposite end of the commentary.
Oh,
Um,
gotcha.
and then people are tall and standing up. Short problems.
I don't ever tire of watching Lucha and Jungle Boy. How is that possible? They're actually a really good team together, and that's how. And I will be honest, I loved Christian and Matt being on the same side. That to me was so great. They did mention, the long history that the two of them have had, which is valid. But it did my heart some good to see them on the same side.
It was
It
nice.
it it made me smile.
Christian got his
Great match
punches
though.
in.
hmm
It was so
hmm
fun.
Digging my heartstrings in. After that, what did we have? Hold on, let me go to my notes. I already had them up. After that, oh yes, we had this here happen. A little bit of an awkward segment to me.
Okay, tell me about this because we didn't see this in
Okay,
person.
so Swerve and Keith Lee were talking about basically how whether they're in a tag team or whether they're individuals, people are basically going to have to respect them, which is cool. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But the segment was a little weird because Swerve was talking about the people that were with him, which is valid. He had some people from Black Panther, some people from like designers and a fashion designer or whatever give him a jacket and all of that. And that was cool. But it seemed disjointed from the actual promo, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because then the promo went back to Keith Lee basically saying, like I said, whether we're individual, whether we're a tag team, y'all are going to have to respect us and revere us. And, you're going to be, you know, what do they call themselves?
Swerve in their glory. Swerve in their glory.
Swerving their glory. Yeah, that's what they said at the end. And it just kind of was,
Okay, I'm gonna go back and watch that.
yeah, go back and watch it. It was not a high point for me. It was kind of a confusing vibe only because, and then the new backstage interviewer is she's a little awkward sometimes. And so it was just kind of, it was all right. It was all right. I'm not
Okay.
going to harp on it too much.
Like
Because,
so, it should have just been them doing a promo. Maybe like then the friends come in and be like, "Hey, bro, like here's your jacket." Like
right.
maybe that would have flowed
Yeah,
better. It
maybe
was like
so.
the flow kind of.
Yeah, when you watch it, you'll be like, oh, that was a
Okay.
little weird.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, we didn't see that. Like any backstage stuff, except for we didn't see any of that.
got you.
That was kind of interesting.
Well, the next thing we had was this.
Yes, we did.
Now, I will admit my girl looked really cute coming out. She looked
She did.
adorable. She looked excited to be there. She said she was excited to be there. Um, but then, of course, she was interrupted by Jade and the crew. And honestly, one of the best talkers in the game, formerly known as Malcolm, now
Mm-hmm.
known as Stokely.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that man is great on the mic.
Amazing.
He is great. Athena had spoken about, being the fallen goddess and, glad to finally be there and that she was going to be the one to break the streak. He's a little bit of awkward AAVE, but that's kind of Athena's thing. She's awkward. And I
She's
can say that because I've met her, in person. She's awkward a little bit. So I can kind of see how it felt very inauthentic. A lot of people on Twitter were saying that her side felt very inauthentic.
To
It
be
gave them a
fair,
lot of Brandy Rhodes vibes from that Black Bitch promo.
but whoa, wouldn't go that far. To be
Right,
fair, she hasn't had like opportunities to do promos like this, and especially right in front of a crowd.
right.
So if that's also not your strong suit, it's not, it's still going to be awkward. But
Well, because if we're
for
being
being
honest,
here, she was never.
she was not the best promo cutter in
No,
WWE either.
no.
She wasn't. I mean, she was, calling people hussies in 2020.
Yeah.
So this is someone who's always been very awkward when it comes to
I didn't think it
promos.
was terrible. Like it got the point across. Everyone was excited to see her.
Jay
it'd be
came
cool-
out.
Yeah, if she'd be cool, if she had a mouthpiece. Like if somebody gave us a mouthpiece.
Because that's the thing. So where they trade off is Athena in the ring
Mm-hmm.
is the elite part of Athena.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be interesting because I know Jade has been getting a lot better, and she's been getting great. That training with Bryan Danielson is paying off. She's getting new moves. She's looking more fluid, shaking some of that green off of her. But Athena is a beast.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you like her promos or not, her in-ring wrestling ability is undeniable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be interesting because I thought it was interesting, the contrast between Jade and Red Velvet, sidewise, because Red Velvet is tiny, Jade is big. Red Velvet wrestles really quickly, Jade does not. And that match was a little awkward.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one is going to be a lot bigger of a challenge for Jade, which is not a bad thing.
No.
I don't know what's going to happen, but I definitely think this is probably Jade's biggest challenger to date.
Absolutely.
Skill-wise.
Absolutely. And I hope they get to touch before they're like in a tag match or something before singles to get the awkward out. And obviously this person's coming.
Well, and I think they might because they did have, the baddies come out with Jade, and then they had Krista and Anna Jay come out on Athena's side basically, and they had a little stare down, which makes me think we might get that six man, well, 6 woman before their singles, because I feel like that match is gonna have to be on a bigger scale because they're the Athena and Jade singles.
Oh yeah. Do you think it'll go all the way to All Out, or do you or do you think it'll be one of their like TV special ones? Like,
if it is a TV special one, they're gonna have to do it justice. I agree, JD. It's going to be interesting with their experience and height differences. Yes. And that's why I brought up the Red Velvet match, because it was, but the difference is Red Velvet is nowhere near as experienced as Athena and nowhere near as talented. And not that Red Velvet is not talented, but Athena's a different level. I mean, if you saw her match with Taya Valkyrie, I don't know it is what it is. The girl's good. But I will say this. Everyone who knows me knows that I have flipped my stance on Athena, formerly Ember Moon, because I was not a fan of hers in WWE. And it was more so because creative was yanking her chain and you could not understand who she was and who she was trying to be. And I got to have that conversation with her and talk about my conflicts with her character, and for her to admit to me that she had those same conflicts, that she did not agree with her, how erratic things were changing and, who she was supposed to be and all of these other things. I am excited to give her a chance to show us who she wants us to think Athena is, but also I fear that if she wins the title, I am going to have the same feeling about her that I have about Thunder. Because it is hard to have a champion who cannot cut promos. That to me, especially when you hold a TV title belt, and the reason why I bring that up is because we are talking about the TBS title. We're not talking about just the Women's World title. You are identifying yourself as a spokesperson for that channel.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
You're walking red carpets. You're on their billboards.
You are that person.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference because I'm not going to be biased and say that Jade cuts amazing promos. She does not. She has a talker. She's always had a talker, and we know that. But the difference is Jade has a look about her that stops people.
Mm-hmm.
Athena has talent that can stop people, but if you don't know her, she looks like an unassuming black girl with a belt, which is fine.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Promo skill has to come in. Because if you fast forward on the show, not that I want to give this man any freaking credit, it makes my skin crawl to give him any credit, but Scorpio Sky cut a great promo with the Laker color belt for TNT against Dante. And it wasn't even really much that he had to say, but he has that charisma, he has that presence, and the title looks good on him, and he's able to deliver as much as regardless of what I feel about him, because I'm not a big Scorpio Sky fan, but he has the ability to translate that championship, because that's what that is. It's essentially a digital media championship. It's a television championship. You have to be charismatic. And I'm concerned that if they put that belt on Athena, while she can kick anybody's ass in that backstage, is she going to be able to hold up the television portion of it and provide the entertainment portion that the TBS champion would have to provide?
Yeah,
I don't know what you think of that.
No, I agree. She could have benefited from Stokely being her mouthpiece. I love him with Jade, but I feel like he could have helped her too. Because that baddie section is all crowded. She got a lawyer, she got a publicist, she got girls. Like, she has a lot.
She's got a lot.
She got a lot going on. So, like, that would have been cool to have him with her. Or somebody. She definitely needs a mouthpiece. But also, how do you have a mouthpiece when you don't have the Jade presence? Like, if she had a mouthpiece and was TBS champion, that would be kind of weird. Because then you're walking across somebody so you can see her. But yeah, Jade does have that presence. People want to look at her. She can carry herself in those media, situations.
Not that Athena can't.
She can't. It's not that she can't.
The presentation is different.
Yeah. And you're right. For that title, it has to be the right person. Because I think in most wrestling people's minds, it's like your secondary title, of course she deserves it. But then you're like, okay, you have to think about it. They are putting them on the TBS things, billboards, everything, interviews, all of that. So it does have to be the right person who can do that, who can represent that channel, the team. So I do agree. As much as I would I would love for her, but then, to be the champion.
Right.
It does.
But I'm also hopeful that she will grow now, given the opportunity to cut these promos and to do these things.
Because she hasn't had it like this. Because it was very confined in WWE to be like, say this, XYZ, and don't ask any questions.
Exactly.
Who am I? I don't know. You're just going to be a person.
I'm hopeful that it will get better. But the segment was great.
It was good.
Set up a little 3-on-3, little beef there going on. We're gonna see what happens with them.
That pop for Chris Statlander though, my girl Chris.
If Athena doesn't take the title from Jade, does Jade ever drop the belt? Jade will drop the belt.
She will.
She will. I think it's probably, if it's not Athena, it's gonna be Chris. It'll be Stat, because the thing about her is her her fandom has grown exponentially because there were a lot of people who were not fans of Stat in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't even check for her. And now she has established herself as somebody that is necessary for the women.
Mm-hmm.
She's established her talent, all of that. And I feel like they're kind of placating Jade and not really letting them go against each other.
Yeah.
Not like they should.
Yeah.
If Athena doesn't take it, I think Stat will.
Yeah.
I think they're finally trying to shift Ruby, and we'll get to that because that was the next match, into a feud with Britt. Not that it would matter because the belt that Britt won doesn't change hands.
Yeah. That's her prize
until the next tournament.
Year. Yeah.
But the women's division seems really disjointed right now because it seems like there's Thunder.
Mm-hmm. Who wasn't even on.
And she's Thunder. She's out here in the ether. There's Britt, who's a pillar, but somewhere in the mid shuffle, wrestling randos. And then there is Jade.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why are we so disjointed? Yeah. Why haven't we seen Nyla?
Yeah.
Why haven't we seen, AQA?
Exactly.
Like, why haven't, and they've been on Dark, yes. They've been on Elevation, yes. It's not what I'm talking about.
But not everybody watches that.
We have space on television for these women. We have formidable competitors for these women.
We saw it Sunday at Double or Nothing. There were women throughout the show.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that energy up. I specifically said, I was in that room asking Jade about how does that feel, because I felt like Sunday to me felt like they were growing their division, and then I go Wednesday, and I'm like, where's my champion? Where's Thunder Rosa? We didn't get a promo. We didn't get nothing.
We didn't get nothing. We didn't get no backstage package. We didn't get no TV promo. We did not see Thunder. We did not see your World Women's Champion.
Yeah. We saw Britt. We saw Toni. Great. You could have...
that was her.
Yes, that was me. Nervously asking Jade questions. But they have stories, but you're right. It doesn't flow. It's just... It's segment here, segment there.
Because if we go into the next segment, which was Britt Baker and Hayter versus Toni Storm and Ruby, even that just felt like someone slapped a peanut butter and jelly sandwich together. It did not feel...
Yeah, it was like, what are we fighting for? Like, if we're going to do a Britt Ruby feud that's not for a title, great.
Do a Britt Ruby feud.
Love that. I love
do
that.
A feud. Yeah.
I love not having a title because they have always just been stuck to rules and wins and for the title and blah, blah, blah. Give me a separate title, but also give me the champion. I need to fight. Who's your champion fighting? Who's next? She could have just literally said, I beat Serena Deeb. Who's next? And you could have just had somebody step in. Boom, promo. Like, it's not that hard. It's not hard. It's frustrating. Because it was a great match. Everybody has doing great things. With their time, they are doing great. The time they give them, the baddie promo, great. The match, fun, great. I love it. But what does it all mean?
Right. Well, going back to that next segment, like I said, we had this happen. Mm-hmm. Ruby and Toni picked up the win. It was a little bit of an erratic match. I don't know what I really expected. How was you tell me how it was. You were there.
I got nervous because I saw people leaving the bathroom and I was like, oh hell no, we're not doing this. It was a little slow start for people to get into it, but then people were into it. It was completely split between Britt and Ruby. Like the crowd was chanting for a while. There was a "This is awesome" chant, which warmed my little heart. It's like once it got moving. Like people were more invested, and I was like, dang, like, oh my god, what's happening? Like this is crazy. I got like kind of excited because I saw Jamie with that belt hitting people, and I was like, is Britt next? Like, are we going for this feud?
Are we gonna turn? Right.
And then it was just like her and Jamie. I was like, ah, dang it. Like, because that would be much more interesting. You know, that could be a side. Like, I don't think Britt needs her little friends. Like, maybe Rebel. Keep her,
Right.
but she doesn't need
Rebel,
Jamie.
not Reba. Rebel, not Reba. Yeah.
But she doesn't need Jamie, and Jamie was so over on Rampage. Like when I went, they were so loud for her. She can be on her own. Like I said, I appreciate this middle not title feuds going on. But what are we doing? What
Right.
But I thoroughly enjoyed the match. I got to see Toni wrestle for the first time ever, so that was exciting. I was glad the crowd got into it after a while though, because I was scared. I was like, oh god, please, no, you guys need to chant because we need these women on. But I also heard people going like, I'm sick of Britt. Like, and it's not even like it's like a Roman Reigns situation with Britt.
Right.
Where they're like, Britt, here she is. And you're like, okay, who else do I see? So, yeah. But I thought the match was fun. People were into it. Like, the crazy spots. Like, we got nervous. Like, outside. I was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Like I said, just do better for these ladies. Do better.
I agree.
Toni?
We got a question from JD. JD said, if you're booking, what do you do with Soho? She can work. She's got a great look, but AEW seems stumped. What do you do with Soho?
I mean, you could, it's hard because they are going with this Britt feud, which is fine, but keep it long. They do have the history. Or put her in the women's title match, but this might be a way to put her in that women's title contendership. You know what I mean? Put her in people's focus because she hasn't been, and people are like, "We're so excited to see her. Where'd she go?" We were saying that she's backstage nurse. And then it looks like
backstage nurse. Let me go back real quick because Jericho had the nerve to ask what kind of human being tries to make someone a fireball. Like he didn't try to set Eddie Kingston on fire twice. Anyway,
yeah.
Go back.
Yeah, really though. He's throwing fireballs at people. If this Britt Ruby feud is done right, then I'm okay with it. Keep it on Rampage, do some promos, keep Toni and Jamie away.
Right.
Because we saw that for months of them just talking. I don't want to see this anymore. Let them be by themselves. Keep Jamie and Toni away. Or end it. And then put Ruby in the women's championship hunt. Because I felt like she was kind of in that TBS one, but she doesn't really fit with that. I would hopefully quick feud, maybe like a month with Britt, just to get people like put her on Dynamite more often. So people can see her. And then maybe have like a contendership or something, or it's something where she can go for that title.
I like that. I think I would do the same.
Because who else are we going to put for Thunder Rosa's title? You know?
Yeah. Well,
I'm happy there's women, and then I'm frustrated with the way they're being treated. So, did we even see Julia Hart? We finally got payoff, and then we don't see her. Stop. Be consistent. We need the Tyra clip in here. I was rooting for you.
We were all rooting for you.
That's how I feel after Sunday. I was so proud of them. And then I get to Dynamite. I'm like, I don't know what's happening.
Well,
but that's just me.
Well, like I said, we did get Toni and Ruby as the winners of that match. What that means, absolutely the hell nothing.
Their matches.
Correct. We also, JD said Ruby sounds like she's in a horror movie. I'm screaming. Please, JD, please. So next and finally,
yeah,
how was Wild Thing in person? I got to ask.
It was so fun. I loved it. Just, I love Moxley. That building went crazy. We're all singing. So much joy. That crazy man.
Crazy man.
Daniel Garcia came out in his hat.
My little Daniel, listen, he's such a sweetie. He's such a sweetie in real life.
I didn't get to meet him. I met all the other boys.
Yeah, Daniel's a sweetie.
What's your boy House?
But that freaking match. What did you think about it? It got brutal, and I was not expecting Daniel to go there like that.
They went there. We didn't realize, when did Moxley start bleeding? We just look and we're like, where's the blood coming from? How did he get blood?
I have no idea.
Nobody knows where he got blood.
I looked away for 2 seconds, looked back, and
yeah. That's what we said. I'm assuming it's from Sunday that got busted open, I would hope, because nothing before that, they didn't even go to the steps then.
Yeah, so he was already bloody when they went to the steps.
Yeah, so it was much confusion. But amazing match.
Really good match. I'm so proud of Daniel. So proud of Daniel. He is, like I said, one of my favorite indie babies gone mainstream.
Yeah. And I love that because we were in LA, PWG. Mm-hmm. He's the winner of this year's
JD, please.
Stop. I mean, I did say because Cody's gone that Moxley has to bleed.
Somebody got to bleed.
Somebody got to bleed because we got to do it.
And Blackpool Combat Club will provide the blood that you are looking for.
If not there, someone else's.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yeah, that match was wild.
It was wild. But of course, Mox picked that win up. But shout out to Daniel for being in the main event, for holding his own. Mm-hmm. He wrestled so well against that freaking legend that is Jon Moxley.
But the best part about Moxley is, and we're talking about it, some friends that I went with, they were like, Moxley wrestles like a madman, and then we'll be bleeding and bust out some holds and things. Just he's like, yeah, I can wrestle. What do it? Bleeding.
Basically.
Yeah.
We did have some ringside visitors. Jericho got stopped very quickly. He didn't make it very far. Kingston was on his ass, him and the loose ankles. Yeah, Bloody Mox is the only time I see a smile on his face. Bloody Mox is where Mox wants to be, if we're being honest. That is Mox's favorite version of himself. Sure. Just like if you guys go back to Stadium Stampede. I mean, not Stadium Stampede, but the match from Double or Nothing. Let me tell y'all something.
Oh my gosh.
I was cackling at the sheer way that his counterpart in BCC, Bryan Danielson, was just whooping this man's ass and excited about it. This is what they do. This is what these two want to do.
I'll be real. I barely saw Bryan in that match because there was where I was until
he was in the same spot whooping that man ass for 15 minutes. Every time they put the camera back on BD, he was still on that man's. I was like, Bryan, you're gonna get this man.
I've watched a lot of wrestling this week, y'all. So if my brain is mush, especially after listening to Wild Thing for 10 or so minutes, however that long song was playing.
Because it played damn near the entire match. That was so funny to me. I was like, why is it still playing? Why are we fighting people and Wild Thing is still playing? Please. Cut it off.
I gotta watch that back too. I gotta watch everything back because
you do. Because you were in the arena. When you watch this back, you are literally gonna be like, this is why they were screaming at their television. Because the camera was just and Wild Things playing in the background.
I didn't know where to look. Because where I was by where Pride and Powerful were in the ladders, and when Jericho and Cameron, that's kind of what section I was at.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever was happening anywhere else, didn't know anything.
Well, baby, we didn't miss nothing on the television. When you go back and watch it, you're gonna be like, this is why they were stressed.
I looked up at the screen, there was Man and Mustard. We're all like, what? Standing the whole time being thoroughly confused. But I digress. Danny Garcia, Moxley, amazing main event.
Great way to end the show. Great way to end the show.
Amazing.
So, are we sticking with our evaluation on the spicy meter?
Absolutely.
Inferno.
Absolutely.
I'm still on that line. I think we were hot Inferno. I thoroughly enjoyed. This is probably the best Dynamite that we've had in a while. Mm-hmm. It was packed full. There were no bad segments. I really, really enjoyed.
It went by so fast.
And it did.
Like, okay, good night. And I was like, oh, we're leaving. Oh, we're done.
It did. It went by very, very swiftly.
Mm-hmm. I could have went for more. I was like, oh, no, okay.
Well, friend.
We did it.
We did the thing.
My first Dynamite. It was so good.
I want to go to
more.
You will. You will be going to more. You're going to way more. Please, Tony.
We've been really good.
We have.
California was really good. Now come this way, so I don't have to drive. Well, I was only 3 hours, so it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but still. Well, tell these people where they can find you, my girl.
Oh, you can find me, as you can see, at Alia. That's 2 underscores. If you want to see pictures from that media scrum that I feel like I snuck into. Kayfabe Queens, we will have a full podcast of everything that happened last weekend, because I don't even know. And vlog, including this. All of the things. Catch me Sunday back here, Women's Wrestling Talk, with my girl, Salt Shakers, and my co-host, Mika. Turnbuckle Glam, and back at our regular scheduled time next Wednesday for Dynamite.
Right. Yes. I'll run down the schedule for y'all because I always do. We'll start with today because we have multiple shows today, and we'll work our way back around to Wednesday. So we had us today. We are not a regular Thursday show, but we are here. We had to make sure you saw your Dynamite Dolls in person. Today we have the news. We have the Impact recap show, and we have the NXT and NXT UK Impact recap show. And we also have your second edition of the Creep Squad After Dark show, where I am thoroughly excited. We will be having the main event on. And if you don't know anything about the main event, they are 2 beautiful Black men that are trying to revive tag team wrestling. They're very talented, very attractive, and it's going to be a very chaotic time with the 2 of them. And of course, your hosts, Faye Jackson and Lovely. We are going to get into some things tonight, and I am excited. So if you like a little 18 and up wrestling content, if you want to see interviews that are not the standard wrestling interview, tune in to Creep Squad. Creep Squad gets more into your personal life, into your sexual preferences, into the things that you like. You'll get to know some of the wrestlers that you love in a different way. And I think you might enjoy it. So tune in. Tomorrow we will have the Rampage and SmackDown After Show with Santana and Stephanie. JD, there is no spice meter for Creep Squad After Dark. I'm just gonna let you know. You're gonna come in at Inferno and leave past at Ghost Pepper. You're gonna be at hottest pepper on the world. The Scoville scale is blown. If you have not seen the first episode, listen. Chaos is going to be great. Saturday, we will have another edition of the Indie Wrap-Up Show. The first one was amazing. Thank you to everyone who has either went back and watched it or tuned in. It was so great. I love doing it. Katrina, Emily, and I were able to hold it down, and we're going to bring it to you again like your Saturday morning cartoons. Come and catch us and figure out what's going on with your indie girls. Sunday, like Al said, Turnbuckle Glam with none other than your Salt Shakers and your Dynamite Dolls, because you need all of us together at least one time. Monday, we're back with the news with Nikki and Santana. Then Monday night, we are there for the Raw post show with, again, Salt Shakers, Nikki and Santana. Tuesday, you can go back and watch anything you missed, including any of our interviews, Creep Squad After Dark, any content that Al has shared with us. You can see all of that back on Tuesday. Wednesday, full circle. You're with us again, your Dynamite Dolls, and we get into the week again. We love you guys so much. Y'all know where to find me, Meek the Mage, on all the things making magic. I am a producer on Creep Squad, so you won't see my face, but I am there. So please tune in.
You're like Oz.
I am Oz, yes. So please tune in, come support us. We love you guys for sticking with us today, midday show. And we do this for y'all because why? We're the number one women's wrestling show on the planet. We'll catch y'all next time. Bye.
Women's Wrestling Talk. Women's Wrestling Talk. The number one women's wrestling show on the planet. Women's Wrestling Talk, the number one women's wrestling show on the planet.